idea to lower interest rates. But no, I have no intention to fire him.
Okay.
That's Donald Trump saying he has no intention of firing Jay Powell, who is the Fed chairman. Of course, he has no power to fire the Fed chairman, so I don't even know why he even made that comment. It makes no sense. No, it was about the Fed chairman. He said he has no intention of firing him, but the Fed chairman said I have no intention of leaving anyways. I mean, so I don't even know what that statement that Donald Trump made was much ado about nothing. Okay, it was nothing. He has no power to dismiss him. This is why he has no power to dismiss the judges. He appoints the judges. He can't dismiss them. That's how it goes. Quite ironic. The people who he appoints, they have this. They can make decisions that affect him. I'm sorry. That's America. That's the beauty of America. We don't have a monarchy. We don't have nobility. Okay, and we don't have oligarchy either. And I want and I made the point earlier. It's such an embarrassment. The U.S., we are embarrassed. We lost the economic trade war against China. Because, first of all, China is not saying anything. America is doing all the talking. China is just sitting there with their hands folded, not doing nothing. And now, Donald Trump and the U.S. have to recoil and roll back those taxes. Those tariffs. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm telling you, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I mean, Donald Trump administration, I must be applauded, because under Donald, and I said this some time ago, about a year ago, 2 years ago, that while Donald Trump was president from 2016 up to 2020, 2021, 2020, I got my taxes every year. Every year I got my taxes. I said that. My tax returns. As soon as Biden and the Democrats took over the White House and the IRS, I did not get any taxes. No movement on my taxes. Today, I got my tax return, my tax refund, for the first time in 4.5 years, thanks to Donald Trump. Thanks to Donald Trump. So, I mean, he's doing something right, okay? He's doing something right. But on the issue of the tariff, we here at the Neoliberal Round, and doing my lectures, and as an economist, we've already spoken. It is inadvisable to charge tariff from China. China can absorb the tariff, America can't. The white people in the suburbs or in Philly or whatever, who go to Alden, where the goods come from? China. And Walmart and these places, where the goods come from? It's part of economies of scale. America relies on China to make the goods for poor, middle class, and low income people in this country. Yes? And and that's fine, because we get the same value, okay, and we have money to do other things. Yes? Now, the iPhones and the very high-end products are made, okay, and the ShopRite and so on. Fine. Certain people can afford to spend $20 for something that we can go to Walmart and pay $5 for. But that's part of economies of scale. Are American companies willing to remove China out of the picture and start supplying these communities and these areas, slashing their goods for some products that goes to these communities? I mean, I don't know if they can. We have a system in this country. Economy, and China provides that. China provides that because they have cheap labor that makes the goods that come here, and then our local merchants can afford to apply their extra $2 for their profit. Yes? Donald Trump is not an economist. He's a businessman, and he's not a successful businessman. Okay? He's not a success. He's a successful person. He's a billionaire. His businesses, I don't know. I'm not. He's a billionaire. Okay. When you think about what happened, when you think about what has happened in Atlantic City, yeah. When you think what has happened with Trump University, we cannot expect and trust the president to lead us economically to the promised land. Okay? But when it comes down to giving American money, yes, he's good at that. This is the Neoliberal Round Podcast, and this is a quick note. Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and many of the former Caribbean colonial countries, the countries that were once colonies of Britain, they went in the 1960s and in that period were affected by what was happening in the world. And of course, by the 1970s, they met with the oil crisis. And the oil crisis really affected these countries to the sense that they are vulnerable and they're smaller states. And so, and as a result, they needed money, and they went to the IMF and the World Bank, and they got and that's what we talk about structural adjustment. They created a plan with the WTO and IMF and the World Bank to help vulnerable states as the world moves towards globalization and the world moves towards crossing borders, including the Caribbean islands, because part of globalization is to cross borders. You want to facilitate this crossing of borders, the exchange that takes place between countries. But part of this exchange, there is this unfairness. What is this that creates poverty? What it is that creates inequality? What it is that puts people behind? So when I came to the US, I was interested in that. I wanted to find out, why is it that people in the Caribbean, people in the global south, why is it that their lives are so vulnerable compared to the other countries? And so I wanted it to be more interdisciplinary. And so that led me to the point of wanting to explore the issues of poverty, because I come from poverty in a sense, not really poverty but I come from compared to the US, I come from poverty, and the experience of poverty, as I said to you, is different. The poverty in the Caribbean that people experience is they have a bucolic society. In the US and post-industrial country, the kind of society is different. So I wanted to understand that, and the international arrangements that creates income inequality, poverty, and then explore solutions to that. And so of course when I came here, I started to I worked with Martin Oppenheimer and Walter Litt and some of these people to study this concept of globalization. And of course I was reading several books. Martin Oppenheimer was very influential in my life. But I wanted to understand, I was interested in globalization because Jamaicans travel, people of the Caribbean, the world is about travel. People travel, and I said in the book, people travel for opportunity. Right. People travel to get to the next level, and the world has always been about travel. But of course there are those who are preventing travel. There's the immigration issue, and I wrote, the world is about travel. People travel, and I said in the book, people travel for opportunity. Right. People travel to get to the next level, and the world has always been about travel. But of course there are those who are preventing travel. There's the immigration issue, and I wrote recently, until we deal with the problem of immigration, or the problem of poverty and income inequality, or the unfairness within competition, or the unfair competition in society, we won't deal with immigration. So we won't fix the problem properly or resolve it.
So you're saying that the immigration issues are really related to income inequality and poverty, because people are looking for greater advances.
Yes,
and improvements.
yes.
Okay.
So people are looking to advance, and people have and travel. The story of America is the story of immigrants coming here looking for opportunity. The story of people in the global south and vulnerable people are people who are struggling, looking for opportunity, and travel facilitates and produces. Immigration speaks to that issue of travel, and globalization speaks to that, because globalization is about crossing borders. Right. And we are to facilitate this kind of cross-border relations, or the exchange that takes place in humanity, because life is about people and how people relate. Life is about people and how people relate. And we talk about communication. Communication is to make popular what was the monopoly. And so what Hi everyone, I'm Renaldo McKenzie, the author of Neoliberalism, Globalization, Income Inequality, Poverty and Resistance. And I'm here in Philadelphia. Amazing librarian who is from New Jersey, but she's here in Philadelphia and she's getting a copy of my book. And I'm going to give her a copy of the book. Thank you for purchasing the copy. And just so you know, I'm a librarian. The neoliberal corporation is always serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges by making popular what was the monopoly. Visit our new store page, Shoptown, at store.theneoliberal.com.